Hello, fellow ghost hunters. So, today I'm going to be making a video that will help you start with Nightmare Mode in Phasmophobia. First off, what is different about Nightmare? It is a higher sanity drain and the fact that pills will only restore 25% of your sanity. Fuse box will start off and it is not going to appear on your truck's map. Hunting phase will be 60 seconds and it's going to be extended every time the ghost gets a kill. The objective board is not going to specify if the ghost responds to everyone or only to people who are alone. Ghost will wander more and can change the ghost room. There are many hiding locations are going to be locked or blocked. Sanity and activity monitors will be broken and there will only be two pieces of evidence. So, let's begin. The first ghost is a Banshee. Banshees can start hunting at 50% sanity. They have standard hunting speed, and the special thing about them is that they prefer manifestation type ghost events where they appear in their true form, just like they do during hunts. Another thing is that they have higher sensitivity towards crucifixes, and they can only initiate a hunt if they are more than 5 meters away from one, instead of 3 meters like for other ghosts. They can emit a shriek like sound on parabolic microphone, but they do not do so often, so you might not hear it every game unless you're standing there with a microphone for a very long time. They will also only target one player. If that player is inside the house during the hunt, then everyone else is safe because the Banshee cannot kill them. However, if the targeted player is outside during the hunt, the Banshee will hunt just like any other ghosts. This ability can potentially be used to identify a Banshee if you are in a group of two or more people, and you do it like this. You wait for a hunt, then one player steps into the line of sight of the ghost. If the ghost ignores that player and keeps looking for someone else, then it is a Banshee. If the ghost goes for the first player hides. Then the second player steps into the line of sight. If the ghost switches the target, it's not a Banshee. If the ghost keeps pursuing the first player, then it is a Banshee. Next up is a demon. And demons can start hunting at 70% sanity. However, they have a small chance of starting a hunt at any sanity level. So if you get hunted as soon as you've entered, then it has to be a demon. They also have standard hunting speed. The special thing about them is that they can initiate hunts every 20 seconds, instead of 25 seconds like other ghosts. Smudging them also prevents hunts for only 60 seconds instead of 90. They can be identified by using Ouija board. The way to do it is like this. You ask the Ouija board, "What's my sanity question?" This question drains 5% sanity for all the ghosts except for demons. For demons, it will drain 4% sanity. And the ghost will answer you based on your current sanity level. If your sanity is above 80%, it will say healthy. If it is between 60 and 80, it will say good, between 40 and 60, average, between 20 and 40, bad, and under 20, it will say awful. So you ask this question until the answer changes, and then you count how many more questions you can ask. If the answer changes again on your fifth question, then the ghost is not a demon. However, if you can ask full 5 questions before the answer changes, and the answer changes only on the sixth one, then it is a demon. Next up, we have a Goryo. And Goryos can start hunting at 50% sanity. They have standard movement speed, and they are quite easy to identify because they are the only ghost that will be visible on dots only through a camera and when no other people are nearby. So, if you're struggling to collect the last piece of evidence, you can try leaving the room and just have a camera pointing at dots. If you see the ghost then you can suspect that it might be a Goryo. Another thing about them is that on Nightmare Mode, they always have to have dots as one of their evidence. So if you see a ghost that has EMF and fingerprints, then it cannot be a Goryo. Next up, we have a Hantu. Hantu can start hunting at 50% sanity, and their movement speed varies based on the temperature in the room. It will be 1.8 meters per second in cold rooms and 1.4 in warm rooms. They emit freezing breaths during ghost events and hunts. They are also the only ghost that does not accelerate over time during hunts. So this is a ghost that you can be kiting around kitchen aisles or other obstacles. Just keep in mind that it will always be quicker than you in the ghost room and other cold rooms. Hunters will also always have to have freezing temperatures as one of their evidences. So if you have a ghost that has prints and orbs, then it cannot be a Hantu. Next up is a Jinn, and Jinns start hunting at 50% sanity. Their speed depends on whether the fuse box is on or off. If the fuse box is on, then they can use a special ability that lets them travel with a speed of 2.5 meters per second until they are approximately within 2 meters of a player. After that, they will travel at the standard ghost speed. However, if the fuse box is off, then they will just travel at standard ghost speed all the time. The special thing about them is that they will never turn off the fuse box. However, they can still turn on the lights and trigger the fuse box. Next up is a Mare. Mares start hunting at 60% sanity if the lights in the ghost room are off and at 40% if they are on. They have standard movement speed, and the special thing about them is that they never turn the lights on. They also have a chance to instantly turn off a light if you turn them on. They prefer ghost events where they blow out lights. The next ghost is Mimic, and Mimics can start hunting at 50% sanity. They have standard movement speed, and the special thing about them is that they can change their behavior based on what ghost they're mimicking. So it can be an active ghost to begin with, and then it can be quiet. It can change its movement speed between hunts, and the most important thing to keep in mind is that this is a ghost that will always have ghost orbs as its third evidence in nightmare mode. So if you see ghost orbs as your first evidence, do not exclude mimic, because if you mark ghost orbs in your journal, then it will exclude mimic as an option. However, it will still be one. Next ghost is a Myling, and Mylings are quite easy to identify. They start hunting at 50% sanity and they have standard hunting speed. The special thing about them is that their footsteps can only be heard if the Myling is close to you, or approximately within 10 meters during the hunt. If you are further than 10 meters, then you will not hear any footsteps. This distance is about 20 meters for all the other ghosts. When you are trying to rule out a myling, you might want to be careful, because if you hide very far away from the ghost room, then you might not hear footsteps at all, even if the ghost is not a myling, just because you are too far away to hear them. They also give paranormal sounds on parabolic microphone. Next up is Obake. Obake start hunting at 50% sanity. They have standard movement speed, and the special thing about them is that they can leave behind a fingerprint with 6 fingers. They have approximately 10 to 25% chance of doing so. Their fingerprints can also disappear after only 1 minute instead of 2 minutes, like for other ghosts. The thing to keep in mind is that the 10% chance could mean that they leave their 6 fingerprint after one door, or after 10 doors, or even 20. So don't give up just because you haven't found one yet. Another thing about them is that they always have to have fingerprints as one of their evidence in nightmare mode. So if you see a ghost that has EMF and orbs, then you know that it cannot be an Obake. The next ghost is Oni, and Onis can start hunting at 50% sanity. They also have standard movement speed, and the special thing about them is that they are very active ghosts. They do a lot of ghost events and can move a lot of objects, however, not at the same time. They also throw objects at higher speed or at higher heights, and they cannot create smoke type ghost events. So if your ghost does a ghost event pretty much as soon as you enter, then you can suspect an Oni. Next ghost is Onryo, and Onryos can start hunting at 60% sanity. They also can have a chance of starting a hunt at any sanity if they blow out a flame. They have standard hunting speed, and the special thing about them is that candles will act like crucifixes. So if it tries to hunt next to one, the candle will be extinguished and the ghost will fail to start the hunt. This is a ghost that you might want to be careful with if you like using candles or lighters as a light source, because it will, if it blows them up, it can start a hunt pretty much on top of you. Another thing about Onryo is that if you have candles stacked next to it, then it will not start hunting, so it can potentially be confused with a ghost like a mare that can start hunting quite late in the game. The next ghost is Phantom. Phantoms start hunting at 50% sanity and they have standard movement speed while hunting. During hunts, they disappear for 1 to 2 seconds instead of 0.3 to 1 second like other ghosts. They will also disappear if they taken a photo of during a ghost event, but they will still produce sounds if they were making any before. They can also start a hunt far from the ghost room because they have an ability to walk to a random player and then walk back to their ghost room. The next ghost is a poltergeist and they start hunting at 50% sanity. They also have standard hunting speed. The special thing about them is that they can throw several objects at the same time. So you can either do that by observing the ghost inside the ghost room, or you can just place several objects in front of the camera and hope that you can catch the ghost moving several of them at the same time. It is also a ghost that is quite active. So if you have a ghost that is moving a lot of things, but you haven't managed to see it move several objects at the same time, then you can still suspect that the ghost might be a poltergeist. Next up is a Revenant, and Revenants start hunting at 50% sanity. Their speed is based on whether they have a player within their line of sight or not. If they see a player, then they will travel at approximately 3 meters per second, but if that player breaks line of sight or if they don't see anyone, then they will travel at half of the normal ghost hunting speed, which is approximately 0.7 meters per second. The next ghost is a Raiju, and Raiju start hunting at 65% sanity. Their hunting speed is based on whether they are within range of electronics or not. If they are, then they will travel at approximately 2.5 meters per second, otherwise, they will travel at normal speed. They also affect electronics at higher range than other ghosts, and it is going to be approximately 20 meters, so in small houses, that can be pretty much everywhere. This is a ghost that you might want to be very careful with. So if you suspect that the ghost might be a Raiju, then I suggest you collect all of your electronics in one spot to avoid the ghost having very high speed all the time during a hunt. You should also be very careful with any electronics that you carry on you, like flashlights or cameras. The hunting speed is not affected by the motion sensors or sound sensors or the lights that are on in the room. Next up is Shade, and Shades can start hunting at 35% sanity. They have standard hunting speed, and the special thing about them is that they prefer hiss type ghost events. They are also very shy ghosts, so you might struggle collecting evidence here and seeing ghost events. So, if seeing a ghost event is one of your tasks, you might have to use a cursed possession in order to do so. They will also not start hunting if several people are nearby, however, this will not prevent a hunt if you are under 35% sanity. The next ghost is Spirit, and spirits can start hunting at 50% sanity. They have standard hunting speed, and the special thing about them is that they cannot start a hunt for 180 seconds after you've smudged close to them. This ability can be used to identify a spirit, however, you have to be certain that you've smudged quite close to them. The next ghost is Twins, and Twins can start hunting at 50% sanity. Their speed depends on whether it is a fake twin or the real twin that started the hunt. The fake twin moves 10% faster, the real twin 10% slower than other ghosts. Special thing about twins is that they can start hunting from different spots. The hunt check, however, always happens on the main twin. So if the main twin is unable to start the hunt because of, for example, crucifixes, then neither is the fake twin. The main twin will mostly be located inside the ghost room, and the fake twin will wander around. The fake twin cannot leave behind any evidence, so you will not see freezing temperatures next to it, and it will not interact with spirit box. However, it is still able to be shown on sound sensors, and it will be picked up by EMF reader, and it can leave behind EMF 5 as potential evidence. It cannot interact with salt piles, and it will not interact with motion sensors. The ability to start hunting from different spots is quite unique with twins. However, you have to keep in mind that, for example, Wraith can also start hunting from different locations because of its ability to teleport to other players. Next ghost is Wraith, and the Wraith can start hunting at 50% sanity. They have standard hunting speed, and the special thing about them is that they will not leave any UV footprints behind. They will still step in salt like all the other ghosts, however, afterwards you will not be able to see UV footprints. You do need to keep in mind, however, that ghosts don't always leave you footprints. They only do so if they start walking after they've stepped in salt. Some ghosts stepped in salt and just stand there. Then you won't see any footprints either. Stepping in salt will also increase race activity. This is a ghost that can start hunting far from the ghost room because of its ability to teleport within 3 meters of a player. So if a ghost starts hunting just on top of you, you can suspect a race. The next ghost is Yokai. Yokai can start hunting at 80% sanity if it hears voices close to it. Otherwise, it will start hunting at 50%. They have standard hunting speed, and the special thing about them is that they only sense electronics and hear voices within 2 meters during hunts. This ability can be used to identify a yokai by turning on electronics or speaking during a hunt and seeing if the ghost will enter the room you're in. This is, however, dangerous and a little bit unreliable since the ghost can just randomly decide to check your room. The next ghost is Yurei, and Yureis can start hunting at 50% sanity. They also have standard hunting speed, and they have a special ability that will cause 12.5% sanity loss for people that are in the same room, and it will also make the door of that room shut with a loud bang. This is quite unique to Yurei, and most ghosts, when they interact with doors, will just make it swing a little bit. So if you hear a door being shut with a bang, then you can suspect a Yurei. It also ghosts that will stop wandering when you smudge them, otherwise, it can wander quite a lot. They also prefer his type ghost events. So, this was it for my little guide. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it was helpful for you. I am planning to make more guides about Nightmare Mode in the future, and I hope you can watch them as well. Thank you so much.